The Ford Kuga is a spacious, practical family SUV that's great to drive. You'll find alternatives with nicer cabins, though, and better infotainment systems. It's almost as sharp to drive as a Ford Focus, yet with the practicality and looks of an SUV. It's a rival for SUVs such as the Nissan Qashqai, Peugeot 3008 and Seat Ateca, but none of those can quite offer the sheer fun that the Kuga can. The latest Kuga is smarter than previous ones, with a large grille, piercing headlights and curves all over the place. Higher spec models on larger wheels look more imposing, but even lower trims wear their smaller alloys well. The Kuga's interior is similarly curvy, with a central touchscreen display prominently placed on the dash. The 8.0-inch screen is easy to use and comes with smartphone connectivity, and the aircon controls are physical buttons, which is good. Adults will have to squeeze in to fit across the rear bench, but there's enough legroom and headroom back there. The Kuga's back bench also slides to swap between legroom and boot space, and you can even have the outer seats heated. Amongst family SUVs, the previous Ford Kuga was a good-looking car. Now, though, it's even more distinctive to look at, and its engine choices are bang up to date. The Kuga's boot could be better, though, as it's a bit smaller than its main alternatives, even with the sliding rear seat. With petrol, plug-in hybrid, and hybrid, there's plenty of choice in the engine range. There's a decent formula to choose which is right for you. If you have a short commute, consider the plug-in hybrid to benefit from the electric range. Check out our separate Ford Kuga plug-in hybrid review. If you're not a commuter and use the car for various trips, hybrid petrol should offer the best balance of economy and smoothness, while the petrol-only model is fine for a mix of driving. Basically, any Kuga you choose won't cost too much to run. Whichever Kuga you choose, you'll enjoy the driving experience. The sharp steering, plentiful grip and decent performance mean that it's enjoyable to drive on country roads. Good visibility and a decent turning circle make it simple work in town, too, while it'll prove comfy and quiet on the motorway. The Ford Kuga has a RRP range of £32,680 to £41,625. However, with CarWow you can save on average £2,658. Prices start at £30,416 if paying cash. Monthly payments start at £374. The price of a used Ford Kuga on CarWow starts at £18,750. There's a lot to like about being in the driver's seat of the Kuga, and it's really comfortable and has the raised position that so many people want from an SUV. It means you have good vision to the front, so you can judge where the bonnet ends when parking, and it's also easy to see out of the side windows as you approach junctions. However, reversing into spaces is made trickier by the thick rear pillars, though Ford does provide front and rear parking sensors with every Kuga model. The manual gearbox in the 1.5-litre EcoBoost-powered Kuga has a light action and feels good to use. Take the hybrid model, and it has a rotary controller to select gears that's brilliantly simple. What's not so impressive is the slightly snatchy feel to the brakes in the Kuga at low speeds, so care is needed not to jolt the car as you come to a halt. You also have pre-collision assist and autonomous emergency braking to alert you to possible hazards ahead and deal with them, as well as lane assist and lane departure warnings in every model. If you think the smaller 1.5-litre engine in the Kuga will feel underwhelming on faster roads, think again. It's a willing performer that pulls strongly from low revs, and the manual gearbox is really good to use. The engine is also hushed when on the motorway, and you have cruise control with speed limiter in every Kuga to make life more relaxing. The hybrid Kuga with its 2.5-litre engine is quicker off the mark and better at tackling steep motorway inclines. However, you do have to get used to its automatic gearbox, which causes the engine to rev quite hard when you accelerate. Still, wind and road noise are both kept quiet in all Kugas. The Kuga is one of the best of this size of SUV for passenger space in the front and back, but you might wish the boot was a bit bigger. Settle into the driver's seat of the Ford Kuga, and you'll find it's got plenty of adjustment in the position and the steering wheel. Taller drivers might want the seat to drop a bit lower, but most will enjoy the raised view that is, after all, what you want an SUV for. The seat itself offers plenty of support for your back and legs, and the steering wheel can be altered for how close it comes towards you and its angle. All of this combines to make the Kuga a very comfortable car, and the driver sits square onto the wheel and pedals, unlike in some other SUVs where you can feel a little out of kilter. Large door pockets will easily hold a large drinks bottle, and there are 2 cup holders in the console behind the gear lever. A tray in front of the gear stick is ideal for holding your phone, and all Kugas come with wireless charging. There's another tray behind the gear lever, though it's a bit small. To the rear of this is a lidded cubby, while the glove box is merely average for this size of car. You also get a proper sunglasses holder set in the roof lining. The Kuga's rear doors open wide, which makes it easy to get in and load smaller kids into their seats. There's also plenty of room for a rear-facing child seat, while the Isofix mounts on the 2 outer rear seats are simple to locate and use, so no messing about trying to jab a clip into place. The rear seats of the Kuga slide back and forth, so you can vary passenger and load space. If you choose a Z-Tech trim for your Kuga, you'll be presented with the basic analog dials in the main instrument pod. Nothing wrong with their clarity and the information they give, but the 12.3-inch digital dash display in the other Kuga trims adds a touch of techno-sophistication to the car's cabin. The digital dash also means you can pick and choose the information on display. Steer your eyes to the center console, and one of the first things you'll notice is there are proper buttons and dials for the air conditioning and ventilation. Thank goodness for this, even if some of the buttons are a bit small, as it makes adjusting temperature and fan speed while driving a doddle. Above this, you'll find the 8.0-inch Ford Sync 3 touchscreen infotainment system. It's common across most Ford models and is uncomplicated to use, but it's also not as up-to-date as the setups found in some others in this sector. Still, it does all that you need and connects to your smartphone via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so you can access apps on the move. In all but the base Z-Tech model, you also get a Bang & Olufsen speaker system that delivers excellent sound quality. The one big disappointment in the Kuga's cabin is the feel of some of the plastics lower down in the dash, seats, and center console. Next to an Audi Q5 or Volvo XC60, the Ford just seems like it's been put together from cheap materials. To keep you safe should the worst happen, the Ford Kuga comes with twin front and side airbags for those in the front, as well as full-length curtain airbags to protect all occupants. The front passenger airbag can be deactivated so a child seat can be fitted, and there are Isofix mounts attached to the 2 outer rear seats.